Hello everyone, so here I am with the book, this time A Thousand Splendid Suns by Khaled Hosseini, and this is the cover. So you can see how beautiful it is. It's so aesthetic, it's so pretty. Okay, so this is the book which I read in February when I was doing my masters, but I could not make a review video back then because I was not making any. But now this year is about to end, and when I am just finally gathering up my thoughts from all the books which I read this year so far, I guess I've read like around 20 books. I know, but it's a lot for me because last year I did not read any out of syllabus. Yeah, so this book which I read in February, it is, what do I say about it? I mean, it is just like, I could say it's heartbreaking, a suspenseful epic. It is actually going to shatter your heart in pieces. And when it comes to, let's do like one phrase, if I have to attain to it, I would give it like heartbreaking. That is one word, and the other phrase is achingly beautiful. I mean, it is actually beautiful, and when I say beautiful, it is beautiful because the bond it talks about, there are two characters, protagonist, Mariam and Lala. So the bond between Mariam and Lala makes it really a very interesting and very very cute kind of a story. Although cute is a very I would say, if you actually know the story and have actually read it, you know it's definitely nothing cute. I mean, the storyline is not cute, the character's bond is cute, but the story is, it's like if tragedy could attain its peak. Yeah, tragedy has attained its peak in this. If you think that, okay, at this point the book must have gotten its saturation point for tragedy, but then there is like exactly the surprise comes, and then it is it becomes really difficult to express how I felt when I read it, because it actually have that potential to make you fall for it. That's the other thing, but also will make you cry. Like every single page has so much emotions, and it's really it's one of its kind of experience reading it. I mean, it's not a classic, I guess, but it should be considered as a classic because it is definitely a masterpiece. And after The Kite Runner, Khalid Hosseini made sure that we again, he will again make us cry. Okay, so this is a historical fiction. The setting is Afghanistan. It's around 1960s, 70s to 2000, early 2000s, and then it talks about the rise of Taliban. Yeah, because see, in the beginning there were this like Mariam and Lala has been living in the regimes where they had their lives, no matter how little they had financially, but they were happy. They were living their lives as kids, and they fell in love with people, like with the man, and then they enjoyed every bit of romance and everything, all the very for a very short period of span, very short span of time. But then comes the rule of Taliban, then comes oppressions, harsh and cruel and critical norms and rules for women, and they could not even bear, like they had to cover their faces, they did not have any say. And even the husbands they got married to were like was like, there was single one man, both of them were married to, was the persona and the epitome of cruelness. Yeah, I mean, and initially they did not like each other that much because they were rivals, but that there the beauty comes there, the cute bond which I talked about, there comes the point when they actually develop this motherly sisterly bond between them. They are both at the same time, and then they had their cup of tea, and then they used to share their they used to share the experiences of the cherished life, the past life, and their future, like the present, and what's their future gonna be. There comes a point when they actually was planning their escape from that butcher's house, and yeah, that was metaphorical. Okay, so I really like chai was that has never been that special when I read it in that scene, like drinking chai together and sharing each, like everything with each other was so special in that book. Okay, so it talks about love, not romantic love, that is also there in case of Lela especially, but more than love, it talks about sacrifice which Mariam finally had to, give. And she was the one, I believe, I'm not comparing a complete, like I'm not putting them on a palette to compare that, okay, who has suffered most and more. But yes, if I have to present my opinion, then I believe Mariam has suffered more, and Mariam was the one who actually went through all these things, all these hardships, which could have been avoided at her terms. And her father played a very crucial role in that, because I believe that it was totally his fault. He made her wait unnecessarily, and then he literally did not I mean, कहते हैं ना, पिता का फर्ज नहीं निभाना, he did that to her. And okay, so that made a lot of sense, right? After that, it talks about endurance, the struggles, and the basic, that zeal of freedom, and that zeal of rebelling and being rebellious in that time. Imagine women being rebellious in the state of Taliban. Could you imagine it? No, it was not even imaginable. And then these like ladies did it. They somehow like freed Laila's daughters from that cage, and like from that orphan. That was not a cage. That orphan was the only good place in that city left. But okay, somehow they were separated. They got separated, and then they had to be reunited at some point, and they did it. They did everything for it, and at the end, Mariam actually sacrificed everything for Layla and her family. But okay, I'm not. I was just one step away to give the spoiler to you guys. But okay, I'm not doing that. If you read it, if you pick it, do let me know which character you feel have suffered the most. But okay, let's not compare their problems and their sufferings. But okay, that's just an opinion. But yeah, apart from all these things, I believe this book is a must read. And if I'll have to rate it now, because I didn't earlier, I was not thinking of making a review, but if I had to rate it, I would rate it as straight 4.9. I do not give 5 stars to anyone, haven't given any of them yet. So it's a 4.9, and when I see it's a 4.9, I loved it even more than the Kite Runner. I have watched the movie and I read something like few pages, but I know this is going to be great read if you are going to try it for the first time. So go ahead and read it. What are you waiting for?